Hey, what is going on guys? In this video, I am going to be discussing Relative versus Legacy in Black Ops 7. And hopefully, by the end of this video, you will know which one is the right one for you. Now, before I start, I just want to say, this setting looks small, but it can completely change how your aim feels when you transition from hipfire to ADS. And it also significantly affects how the aim and input feels on MNK. What Relative does. Relative is the newer, more mathematically consistent ADS system. Instead of simply making ADS slower based on zoom, Relative tries to preserve the relationship between your mouse movement and your screen movement. That means your aim can feel more consistent between hipfire and ADS. This is why a lot of competitive mouse and keyboard players prefer Relative. It helps your muscle memory transfer better across different situations. The key part of Relative is the monitor distance coefficient. Some common values are 0. This has a very strong center screen consistency. This can feel great for micro adjustments and tracking near your crosshair. 1.33. Very common competitive value. It is often recommended because it gives a balanced feel when switching from hipfire and ADS, especially for standard widescreen setups, aka 16:9 aspect ratio. Also, 1.33 is the monitor distance coefficient I use. 1.78 commonly associated with 16:9 matching logic, but not everyone prefers it. Some players feel it is too fast or too widescreen biased. The important thing is this: Relative is not just faster legacy, it is a different way of scaling your sensitivity. Relative is good for players who want consistent muscle memory, players who switch between multiple weapons and optics, players who rely on tracking, target switching, and fast corrections, players who play aggressively and need hipfire to ADS transition to feel natural. Relative is good for players who want consistent muscle memory, players who switch between multiple weapons and optics, players who rely on tracking, target switching, and fast correction, players who play aggressively and need hipfire to ADS transition to feel natural. Now let's get on to what Legacy is the older Call of Duty ADS sensitivity system. The simplest way to explain it is this: Legacy makes your ADS sensitivity feel more directly tied to the zoom level of the optic. Aim down sights, the game slows your sensitivity in a more traditional COD way. This can feel good because it gives you a strong sense of control. Your ADS aim may feel slower, heavier, and more locked in, especially at range. This is why some players like Legacy. It can make long-range gunfights feel more stable because your aim does not feel as loose when you are zoomed in. But the downside is consistency. With Legacy, your muscle memory between hipfire and ADS is not as clean. Different zoom levels can feel more disconnected. So if you are constantly switching between close range tracking, snapping, centering, and mid-range recoil control, Legacy can feel less universal. Legacy is good for players who want a more old school COD feel, players who feel Relative is too fast or too floaty, players who mainly care about ADS stability, players who use fewer optics and want a familiar controlled feeling. Legacy versus Relative, the real difference. The real difference is this: Legacy gives you comfort, Relative gives you consistency. Legacy can feel easier at first because it has that classic slowed down ADS feel, but Relative usually gives better long-term consistency because your aim does not change as awkwardly when switching between red dot and zoomed optics. For a game like Black Ops 7 where gunfights are fast, movement is cracked, and you constantly go from sprinting to centering to ADS tracking, Relative honestly makes more sense for most high-skill mouse and keyboard players. That is why many Black Ops 7 settings recommendations lead towards Relative, often with 1.33 coefficient with keeping raw mouse settings clean. No acceleration, no smoothing, no filtering. My verdict and my opinion: use Legacy if you want a slower, older COD feel and care more about ADS stability than perfect consistency. Use Relative if you want cleaner muscle memory, better target switching, and more consistent aim across hipfire and ADS. For most serious mouse and keyboard players in Black Ops 7, especially aggressive players, the answer is Relative with 1.33. Legacy is not bad by any means, it can work, but if you are trying to build elite level consistency, Relative is the setting I would trust long term. I hope that this video has allowed you to find the optimal setting for you, and I would like to say thank you for watching. You are honestly a real one, and I really do appreciate the support. Feel free to let me know what other videos and topics you would like to see me cover in the future. Thank you, have a great day. Peace out, guys.